Hello and welcome to Shoot the Hostage with me, Dan, and my partner, Sarah. We're a movie podcast who talks about a different film each week based on a theme. We do swear and we do spoil the featured movie, so only ever listen if you've seen the film or you don't care too much about spoilers. If you're a regular listener, you can just skip forward until you hear the intro music because you've heard all of this before. But if you are new to the show and you do enjoy what you hear, there are a couple of things you can do to help support the show. Firstly, make sure that you're subscribed on your podcast player so you get notified when new shows drop on Mondays. You could rate us 5 stars on Spotify, which couldn't be easier. You just hit the star icon below the show's artwork. Or if you have a spare few minutes, we'd love it if you could submit a review wherever you listen. Make sure you come follow us at STH_pod on social media. We are active on Instagram, Threads and TikTok. And lastly, the biggest thing you can do to help is tell a friend about the show. So that's about it. That's enough preamble from me. Over to me and Sarah for this week's episode. Happy Rex Manning Day.
Not quite. Or is it?
Well, it depends when you're listening.
That's a good point.
If you're listening on release day, on a Monday, unless you live in Australia, in which case you're in the future, then Rex Manning Day is tomorrow, the 8th of April. If you're listening to it on the 8th of April, then happy Rex Manning Day. We're on or around Rex Manning Day at time of release.
Yeah.
And that's good enough for me.
It's definitely good enough for me as somebody who fervently celebrates Rex Manning Day every single year.
Yeah, something I was not familiar with until you and I met, and you told me about Rex Manning Day, and I was like, what the fuck's Rex Manning Day? And you went, it's an Empire Records thing. And I said, oh, I haven't seen Empire Records.
You said, what the fuck's Empire Records?
I knew what it was. I remember that poster from when I was a teenager. But yeah, no surprise. This is your pick this week in our season of flops.
Yep, back to me.
Yeah, third film in a season, back to you, Empire Records, off you go.
Oh my God, don't do that to me. Don't do that to me.
Why'd you pick it? First question.
I love it. I picked it because I love this movie. And I think perhaps... So we're only 3 episodes into flops. And I think The Thing is perhaps a bit of an outlier.
Yeah.
Because I think that's a genuinely brilliant film. Now, I am an Empire Records apologist. I make no bones about that. But do I think it's an excellent film? No, I don't. I think it's kind of a mess.
You are correct in some of those words you just said.
Yeah. I mean, some of it was opinion-based, so I would say I'm correct in all of it.
I never saw this. I don't quite know why I didn't see it. I was definitely aware of it when it came out, 95?
Yes.
So we're in the mid-90s. I was 11 years old.
Mm-hmm.
I probably wasn't aware of it upon cinema release.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it was maybe the year after. I feel like summer 96 is where I'm kind of placing it in my mind. A Broken Arrow sort of season, if you will. John Travolta.
Oh my God, stop with the John Travolta. Stop it.
I don't know why he comes up so much.
Neither do I.
But yeah, I don't know. I sort of placed it around then. And I think possibly I was staying around one of my mates' houses and his older brother had potentially rented it. Mm-hmm. And maybe we had rented Broken Arrow, and that's maybe why I'm getting the two
his older brother rented Empire Records.
Yeah, but by
an 11-year-old, rented Broken Arrow.
but by like a year.
Right, okay.
But I don't quite know why I never watched it. I think it just sort of passed me by. Other than that, didn't really think about it too much, but the poster is kind of firmly in my brain and an image that I've just sort of recognised for decades at this point. Mm-hmm. And I think when the first time you and I sat down to watch it, it was actually Rex Manning Day, I believe.
Yep.
And has been every year except for one.
When you were away.
When I was in Scotland, yeah.
I think you planned that personally.
Yeah.
You just wanted a year off.
I purposely got a job in Scotland, moved there for 6 weeks, mm-hmm. just so I could avoid watching Empire Records and celebrating Rex Manning Day with you.
Yeah.
I would never go to those lengths.
I would not put that past you at all.
Really?
I'm still not sure that job existed. I think you just wanted a holiday from me.
It's on telly.
Yeah, you've not watched it yet.
No, but some people have watched it. My boss has watched it. He said it's good. Yeah, so I saw it for the first time a few years ago, about I guess 5 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago,
Mhm.
and I didn't love it. I'll be honest with you, but we'll get into it, I'm sure. But I don't know if you're kind of just beating me into submission with it. Like, it's got to a point now where I'm just like, yeah, it's got a certain charm to it. I can sort of see the appeal.
Does.
Yeah, totally. There's a couple of fucking annoying parts of it, which again we'll get into.
Lucas.
And I was going to say Broderick, Matthew Lillard's clone, not clone.
Yeah.
But there's something about it. Maybe it's partly the energy that you give off when you're watching it, because you're like, save the Empire, damn the man, and you're doing all these quotes, and it's quite adorable to watch. And I can sort of feed off your excitement a little bit as well. There's part of that. I don't know, how do you feel when we're watching Terminator 2 together and I'm like, oh, it's a bit where he pulls his skin off?
Yeah, no, I understand what you're saying, but also I love Terminator 2,
Yeah,
so
that's
it's
fair.
not like you have to twist my arm to watch that movie.
No. I just think the more I see it and the more familiar I've become of it, it's not like a film you have to sit down and concentrate on every single scene.
No.
It's a hangout movie.
Which, yeah, I love, as you know.
It's totally your vibe, yeah. And I think I still don't think it's an excellent movie. I just have got a bit of a soft spot for it now.
That's interesting.
I can't say I was expecting it too much, and it wasn't until this time that it really was like, oh, damn it. I'm kind of enjoying this.
Oh, wow. Okay. Interesting.
Was you not expecting that?
No, not at all.
Oh, was you expecting me to do a giant turd on it?
Not a giant turd, a small turd.
It's a tiny turd.
Yeah, a pebble. Like a rabbit poo.
All right.
Right. So there was a series of like fortunate occurrences that happened to me. I saw this film completely by accident the first time. I was 13. Me and my friend Elizabeth went to Blockbuster to rent a movie on a Saturday evening. Believe it or not, we'd intended to rent a movie that hardly anybody's ever heard of called The Cure, which was like a boyhood buddy comedy AIDS drama.
Laugh a minute then.
Yeah.
Right.
And when we got home, we opened the box and they'd put Empire Records in instead.
I think they did that on purpose.
To spare us.
Yeah. They're like, you don't want to watch this.
But I did actually watch The Cure and I cried. I cried my little heart out.
Okay.
But my dad was just like, there's no way I'm driving you back. That's it. He's stuck with it. So we were like, fuck it, we'll just play it. Because I'd never heard of it. So we popped it in the VCR anyway, because what else were we going to do? And we just like were subdued into silence for 90 odd minutes. And when it finished, we were like, should we rewind it and watch it again? And we watched it again immediately. Straight away.
That's what I did with Bad Boys.
This is my Bad Boys.
This is your Bad Boys.
Yeah.
Fascinating. And you were how old then?
13.
13, right. So, yeah, okay.
And similarly, I've warmed to Bad Boys.
Yeah,
so
I suppose so. But maybe that's a little bit of that effect as well.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, we're just shiny dick with 2 chairs in it. And you're like, oh, here he goes. No, it's adorable, isn't it? That's interesting, yeah. It's funny, like you saw it all those years ago. My first experience was just a couple of years ago. I don't know if I'd have seen it when I was a teenager. Maybe I don't know whether I would have liked it or not. I can't tell. It's tricky because I do like some hangout movies. I think do I though? What are we talking with hangout movies? We're talking Linklater. We're talking Smith.
Well, so interestingly, the other thing that came off the back of this, just very quickly, was I became obsessed with Kevin Smith and his films in the, I would say, late 90s, early 2000s. You know, back when he was still sort of a reasonable... he's never been a good filmmaker.
Before pre-Tusk.
Pre-Cop-Out.
Pre-Cop-Out, yeah, that's a good shout, yeah.
And actually, no, pre-Jersey Girl.
All right.
I'll say pre-Jersey Girl. But yeah, I was obsessed. And I remember, I think it must have been something like Empire magazine, because I was like rabid about collecting all the film magazines back then as well, but there weren't too many out. And there was a review of Empire Records, And somebody likened it to Clerks, which had obviously been a couple of years prior to that, in a kind of like a day in the life of retail workers. And they said that Clerks was the far superior film. So that's kind of what spurred that on, because I went and rented that on VHS from the library, like the little nerd that I was. And yeah, that's what started my infatuation with Kevin Smith back then as well. So Empire Records was responsible for that too. So
it was a gateway movie for you to a lot of other hangout type situations. Did you see, what about
and then again, probably it was kind of reading Kevin Smith's reverence for people like Linkletter is what led me to kind of dig out Slacker and Dazed and Confused.
Oh, so you kind of went backwards through the timeline.
I did, yes.
I don't think I've seen Slacker. Have I seen it?
I don't believe so. I'm not sure you'd like it. It's not, there's no story, there's no plot. It's just you follow one character, they bump into somebody else, then you follow the other person. Like, it's just character hopping.
Yeah, right. Because while we were just having this little chat, my brain was working in the background and really trying to figure out if actually I do like hangout movies, because I can't actually think of any off the top of my head that I love.
We've covered one.
Breakfast Club?
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah. The Empire Records actually gets compared to Breakfast Club quite a bit.
Yeah, it's kind of a single location, bunch of annoying people stuck in a room together.
Yeah. Some are more endearing than others.
Yeah.
But unlike Breakfast Club, the goth girl does not get a makeover.
Yeah.
Which I appreciate.
But I don't know if the hangout genre is really for me. Thinking about it and while we've been talking, I think I prefer Empire Records to Clerks now at this point. I only saw Clerks for the first time very recently when you introduced me to it, and I'm kind of like, I find it a bit hard to watch. I don't find it very interesting, to be honest.
I don't love it as much as I used to. I'll always have a fondness for those movies because of, I guess they sort of shaped who I am in a way. They played a small part in that.
Well, yeah, a lot of people wrap their identity around these Kevin Smiths and Linklater types movies, don't they?
Yeah, and stuff that you saw in your formative years. It's bound to have an impact.
And Dazed and Confused, that's something I think we watched together as well. I think a bunch of these I just never saw.
Yeah.
I guess they never really appealed to me a great deal, so I never sought them out. And when I did see them, I was like, it's all right. Bit dull though, isn't it? What's that Ben Stiller one? Is that a hangout movie?
Reality Bites.
Reality Bites. Is that?
I wouldn't call that a hangout movie, no.
Who made that? Is that Linklater?
No, that was Ben Stiller.
Oh, he directed that.
He did, yeah.
Before The Cable Guy.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. Would have been a year or two before.
Okay.
I don't know. All those films are kind of the same ilk, but yeah, I wouldn't call that one a hangout movie.
Which one do I like? It's really bothering me now.
You're just like, there must be one.
I guess The Breakfast Club is my favourite, and I don't like it that much.
Yeah,
I own it, and we've covered it. It's all right. We spoke about that in the Breakfast Club show, so go and listen to that if you give a fuck about my opinion on it.
Look at you just scanning your Blu-rays. There must be a hangout movie amongst them.
Hacksaw Ridge, is that a hangout movie?
Nope.
No. Captain America Civil War? What? No.
Well, I guess you could call it a hangar out movie because they are in a hangar for a while.
A German airport.
Yeah,
they are very good. I don't think I own many hangout movies. You, on the other hand, own quite a few, I think.
I'm a big fan of just character-driven, day in the life kind of things. I think they have to be either well written or fast-paced enough to keep me interested, or, as with Empire Records, just baked in nostalgia.
Is it baked in nostalgia? Is that a personal thing to you, though? Is that because it was like the first one of these that you saw and it got you into a bunch of other stuff? Is that why it's nostalgic to you? Because I was thinking about this the other day, and it was a contemporary piece when it was made. It is like we watch it now, and obviously if it was made today, it'd be a period piece. So there would be some sort of nostalgia link with it if it got remade today. And I think that it's not a bad idea to remake something like this, to be honest with you. But maybe we'll talk about that later. But the nostalgia for you is more of your personal viewing of it, seeing it through your teenage eyes.
Oh yeah, massively, yeah. just the age I was at, the place and the time, like everything kind of lined up for me. It's wild to me that it's 30 years old now. Because I know it is sort of steeped in the 90s. That is, you know, the costuming, the set design, the music, very much the music. It's all very, very, very 90s.
Do you think so?
I don't find it to be that dated.
I don't think it is very 90s. I think some of the clothing, some of the haircuts, the attitudes, honestly, some of the attitudes in it. But outside of that, I don't really know what's dating it. Some of the music, but then you've got like an AC/DC in there, which is like a 79 album, so that's not really 90s.
Some Jimi Hendrix in there too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. There's some Hendrix in the last movie we covered. 2 weeks of Hendrix movies, songs in movies. So I don't know. It doesn't feel like a particularly 90s movie to me. But then again, I don't really feel like we've moved on that much, aside from a smartphone and a laptop, from the 90s.
Oh, a hard disagree.
Really? What do you think's different?
Everything.
You like what? Big Macs. They're smaller.
Yeah, everything's smaller and more expensive.
Yeah.
No, I think everything's wildly different.
Maybe it is, and I'm just too old to notice now.
Yeah. It's interesting actually, because a film I imagine is going to keep coming up throughout this episode is Dazed and Confused.
Yeah.
Because that was made a couple of years before. Obviously, we've mentioned Richard Linklater already. It's kind of referenced indirectly in Empire Records, but has 3 actors in common.
Oh, 3?
3.
I know one. One's Rory Cochrane.
He would not appreciate that, Dan. Rory Cochrane, James Chemo Wills.
Who is that?
The guy who plays Eddie.
Who is that?
The guy with the long hair.
They've all got long hair.
The guy with the longest hair who gives Mark the pot brownies.
The one that is Liv Tyler's dad?
No.
And not Steven Tyler?
No.
Right, okay. Right, that guy, sure.
The other one. And Renèe Zellweger had like a bit part. She was sort of non-speaking, but I believe you can see her in the background of a scene or something.
Interesting.
Because she was actually dating Rory Cochrane.
Really?
When they met on the set of Dazed and Confused. Rumour has it that he got her the part in Empire Records.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, so it definitely was a fan, like the filmmakers of Empire Records were a fan of the genre and that movie in particular. I'm guessing like that there can't be an accident that those people were in that movie and in this movie as well. What year was Dazed and Confused roughly?
93, I think.
Is it? For some reason I feel like it's way older than that.
Well, I mean, it's set in the 70s, so
that's probably why. Yeah. Is that the one with Ben Affleck in it?
Yeah.
Is he a douchebag?
Yes.
Doesn't really narrow it down.
No, it doesn't. But yes, he is.
Yeah. Yeah. It's obviously it's fully intentional, I'm guessing, or it could just be that those were the people that were kind of popular at that time. Although
maybe
I'd never heard of any of them until I saw Empire Records, apart from Renèe Zellweger, because she's in Bridget Jones' Diary,
which you love, obviously.
That's my favourite movie. Yeah, I love that trilogy.
That film where she's a totally normal-sized woman and everybody can't stop talking about how disgustingly fat she is. Ugh.
Yeah,
awful.
There's a new one out now. We
good.
We avoided that, didn't we? Didn't get that on the Patreon feed, did you?
No,
and you never fucking will.
But yeah, the last thing also is there's a little sign on one of the tills in the record shop that has the Dazed and Confused acid face.
That's not a Dazed and Confused, but that's just an acid face.
No, but it is the one from the front cover, and it's got the same background and everything, and it says "Have a nice days." Right.
Okay. Isn't it also the cover for the Ivan Reitman film Evolution?
No.
But yes.
No. Well, isn't it also the front cover for the little scene Anna Faris stoner comedy Smiley Face?
Yes.
Kind of yes, but no, not really.
Yes. I think I've seen that movie. I think
it's terrible.
Is it? I think I liked it.
Oh dear. Were you high?
No, definitely not. So you're a big fan of this movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that speaks to your childhood. It reminds you of a simpler time.
I think between this and Labyrinth, I'm not sure which one, but I think this might be the film I've seen the most.
Right. Okay.
Which I know I sort of talked in the last episode about not having guilty pleasures, and that's a stupid idea.
Yeah.
We shouldn't feel guilty about things we enjoy. However, to say that Empire Records is the film I've seen the most is vaguely embarrassing.
Is it?
Yeah.
I sort of get it though. Like, if you saw it when you were that age, if I'd have seen this when I was that age and I had liked it, I would have watched it every day. And that just would have been the case. I can't do that with films anymore, even if I do love them.
Yeah.
Which is weird, isn't it, that we can't. Is that just because there are more things now, or is it because our adult brains are just like, no, fuck that, we watched it yesterday?
I don't know, because I think the reason why we don't rewatch stuff more often is because you don't want to. Because there's a bunch of stuff, like I have made a point of trying to buy all my favourite films of last year already.
Yeah.
And I would have probably rewatched all of them by now.
Well, we have watched Ricky Stenicki twice.
Yeah. Oh, that is embarrassing. I don't think the Farrelly brothers have seen it twice in a year.
It's fucking funny.
That front half is loaded with jokes.
That's one of the funniest films in the last 5 years. Sorry.
We stand rock hard Rod on this podcast.
I don't. Yes. Do I not like? I guess I don't really like rewatching movies an awful lot. We've rewatched some, haven't we? Ricky Stenicki, obviously. Yeah. Well, you bought me Civil War. We've not watched that.
We haven't watched that. No.
I'd be up for watching that. Which ones are you keen to rewatch?
Love Lies Bleeding, Monkey Man.
But they're movies that I didn't really like.
Well, maybe that's the difference then. Blink Twice.
Yeah, I like Blink Twice. Yeah. Okay, that's fair. I mean, we can put that on if you like, I guess. Or we could put Bad Boys on again.
Oh, here we go. We could just watch Empire Records. How about that?
Do you know what? Like, if you said to me, let's put this on again tonight, I wouldn't fight you about it.
That's crazy how quick of a turnaround you've had in just a couple of years.
I've got a quick turnaround in a couple of years. That's like 7 views. No, I've seen this now, what, four times, 5 times?
I think 4.
There are some films in my collection that I've not seen 4 times.
Yeah.
There's a lot of films I haven't seen once, to be honest with you. But I think the more I watch it, the more just breezy I'm finding it to watch.
It is like such an easy watch.
You don't really have to pay attention too much. You can dip in and out, particularly as far as you're concerned, because you've seen it so many times, you know it like the back of your hand.
Yep.
I could sort of dip in and out, make some dinner, come back in 20 minutes later, and there's the bit where they're doing a little dance in the shop to that shit song.
It's Edwin Collins again. Get back out. Yeah. I hate that song.
It's just quite, it's not a tricky, I don't hate watching it. The more I've seen it, the more I'm just kind of letting it happen rather than being resistant to it. Now, the caveat is that I fucking hate Lucas and I hope he dies in a house fire.
Just Lucas?
Just the character, not the actor. I'm sure he's a great actor, Rory Cochrane. We saw him in that film about the killer moose. I can't remember what it was called. You remember the big moose? It had the bit.
Antlers.
It was called Antlers. Yeah, that's right. And
the film about the Wendigo. Big moose.
Is it called a Wendigo? Yeah. Is that's like it's a
cryptid.
Zebra with the horn. What's that called?
What?
The unicorn. Isn't that? It's not real. It's
no.
not a real thing.
No.
Wendigos are fake.
Depends who you talk to, but yeah.
But it's based on a moose.
No. Do you know what a moose is?
I thought it was like a mammal with like horns that come out of it. Horns that look like twigs.
Oh my God.
Like a Christmas mammal. I'm making myself sound stupid here. Let's move on.
A Christmas mammal. Oh, I love it. We need a line of merch immediately.
Why? What are we going to put on a t-shirt?
Christmas mammal.
Let's do it.
Rudolph the Christmas mammal.
Anyone can write fucking words on t-shirts these days. Just see the shit that fucking TeePublic have got on their website.
Oh my God.
So obviously we've already mentioned this was your choice.
Mm-hmm.
You love it.
Mm-hmm.
Something that was very special to you, but it's also a flop. And which is one of the reasons, or the main reason, I guess, that it was included in this lineup.
There's a chance it might be the biggest flop this season, you know?
I was thinking that too. It might be. Maybe we'll review that at the end of the season, perhaps in a wrap show. We'll do I'll do a spreadsheet. Yeah, I'll get to do a
Oh
spreadsheet.
God, here we go.
Yeah, I think you might be right. So the budget was 10 million.
An approximate 10 million. Apparently it made about 250,000.
Right.
If that might be generous.
More than Police Academy 7.
Yeah, I think they may have rounded up for that. I spent some time talking to ChatGPT this week because I was desperate to find out how much the music budget was.
Oh, yeah.
It was useless. AI has failed me. I couldn't find any information anywhere about how much they likely spent on the licensing rights. But it had to be astronomical, right?
It must be, considering the amount of songs there are in this.
The sheer volume. I remember, so obviously when I was a kid and I watched this like every other day, I also ordered the CD soundtrack because I loved the soundtrack and I was so excited. And then it arrived and there were like 13 songs on it.
Mm.
And I knew, because I'd counted in the credits, that there were at least 50 songs in the film.
Good Lord.
Yeah, I was that person. But yeah, there's like 50, 60 tracks on the soundtrack.
There's a lot, and it does churn through them as well. And there's even a couple of good ones.
There's loads of good ones. I think this soundtrack like is full of bangers. And also Edwin Collins.
Do you?
I do.
I like AC/DC. I bet that wasn't on a soundtrack.
It wasn't, no. No, there was Jimi Hendrix.
No.
I don't know if the Cranberries were. It was mostly like the smaller stuff, like
Pete Burns.
Pete Burns wasn't on this.
Was it?
Are you thinking of the Buggles?
Buggles?
Video Killed the Radio Star.
I'm thinking of You Spin Me Right
That
Round.
wasn't on this, was it?
Is that not in this?
No.
Maybe I'm thinking of The Wedding Singer.
Yeah, I mean, they're fairly interchangeable, aren't they?
Was it Video Killed the Radio Star?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's the only thing I could think of that you might be confusing it with.
Was it at the start of the movie?
It was fairly near the start, yeah.
That's probably it.
As they're setting up for Rex Manning Day.
Yeah, I think that was it.
Do you know why they chose April 8th for Rex Manning Day?
No idea.
So apparently at a reunion screening, I don't know where, don't know when, but Ethan Embry was asked and said that it was decided that it would be April 8th because it was the day that Kurt Cobain killed himself in 1994, prior.
I thought that was April the 4th.
Well, have you got time for me to Google it?
I'm going to Google it now.
If it's incorrect, then I've lost all faith in Ethan Embry.
When did Kurt with a K?
Yeah. When did
Cobain with a K?
When did Courtney Love have Kurt Cobain murdered? I'm kidding.
Oh no, yeah, on April. This is weird. Date of death 5th of April 1994, but then it says on April 8th, 1994, Kurt Cobain was found.
Oh right.
Okay. So that was when he was found.
Right.
Okay, Ethan Embry, you are relieved. not in a hand shandy type way.
You didn't need to specify.
I did.
But thank you.
I did.
I appreciate the motion that you did as well that our listeners can't see.
I'm glad this isn't being filmed.
Me too.
So it was in honor of Kurt Cobain. I'm sure he's thrilled that Empire Records has had a made-up day called Rex Manning Day in honor
about
of
a
him.
washed-up has-been 80s singer
played by Maxwell Caulfield.
Yes.
Who's in other things, I guess.
Who's in Grease 2.
Grease. He's a Grease, is he?
Yeah.
That's interesting, I guess.
Who do you think Rex Manning was likely based on? My best guess is probably like a Tom Jones type.
Yeah, Tom Jones, a Wayne Newton, perhaps.
Wayne Newton.
a Neil Diamond.
Okay.
Perhaps, if you will. Did he do a frilly shirt situation in the tight trousers?
Probably.
A horn blower, maybe. Was that Sean Bean? Was he a horn blower? Did he have the tight trousers? Oh no, he's a sharp, I think.
Are you thinking of Ewan Griffith?
Lone Griffith, yeah. My mind's going all over the place. Keep me on track.
Yeah, ADHD brain has taken over.
Tom Jones, I think, is probably the best shout for that. Do you think was there any concrete information that Ethan Embry said it as?
I couldn't find anything, sadly. So you've already mentioned that you despise Lucas.
Yeah.
Do you just find him obnoxious?
Do you know what it is? I think that, and I hate to admit it.
Is it the fact that he's dressed like Steve Jobs?
Yeah. Well, the turtleneck doesn't do him any favours. I think, honestly, I think it's probably that out of all of the characters, he's the one that most reminds me of teenage me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh,
Bit of a
okay.
know-it-all, bit of a just a smarmy, thinks he's really smart and clever and stuff, and just says stupid shit but thinks it's genius. I think that's probably what I was.
I don't get that vibe. It's funny how you've taken that read of it. I think I don't know, maybe it's just my overwhelming love for this movie that's making me view all of the characters in a more affectionate way. But I don't get that vibe at all. He's annoying, don't get me wrong.
I guess he's our main character, right? Is he the first character that we see?
He is.
And the first thing that he does is gamble away $9,000 in Atlantic City.
Yes. It's not his own money.
No,
we should point out.
It's Joe's. Famous Australian actor Anthony LaPaglia.
I didn't know he was Australian until about 5 years ago, you know.
Australians are so good at being Americans.
I know.
And all the Americans think Australians are British.
Yeah.
Full circle.
Oh, I didn't know they had an accent. Everybody's got an accent, yeah. Karen.
So, yeah, I guess he's our main character. He's the one that we're supposed to follow. He looks at the camera at one point and he's definitely...
There's a couple of like fourth wall breaks in this movie.
Are they all by him?
No. At least one of them is Mark.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Lucas is definitely the person that we're meant to be following. And I guess if there is a story, he's the instigator of that story in a way. And I find him quite annoying to watch. But you don't find him annoying? You find him...
No, I do find him annoying. But I don't hate him. As a result of that.
Do you know what I think it is? I think it's honestly partly that I think it reminds me of me as a teenager, if I'm being perfectly honest.
Okay.
Because, you know, when you get really annoyed at something, really angry at something, it's usually because it's hit a nerve somehow.
My dad always used to say, I don't know if he was like stealing the phrase from somebody else, probably, but he always said, we hate most in others the traits we see in ourselves.
Well, yeah, that's exactly right, I think. And when I get that, like, oh, it's probably something that I need to look deeper into.
At least you're self-aware about it.
Well, I wasn't until this week when I was thinking about it.
Until like, Empire Records.
Why does he annoy me so much? And I think that's honestly what it is. But honestly,
maybe
he says some stupid shit in this, and it doesn't make any sense. So I'm just like, what are you talking about, you absolute moron?
Does it not make sense given the nugget of backstory that kind of unrolls for him?
Not to me.
No.
Well, like, I guess you're getting at the fact that he was a child without parent. What's the name of that? I forget the word.
Well, it sounds
Foster
like
kid?
his mum, just gave him up for adoption.
Yeah, right. Okay.
But not till he was like 10.
Is that what
which has got to be so traumatic.
Yeah, absolutely. But...
And then it sounds like he was kind of taken in by Joe. So there's a hint of like a more father-son dynamic going on between those two.
So he got taken in by Joe, and then he robbed $9,000 off him.
But he thought he was doing the right thing.
Why though?
Because he's an idiot. They're all teenagers. Yeah, I think.
And the stupid shit, what he thinks is smart shit, like bringing us cushion when he's walking. That is the sort of thing that I would have done.
Not the whole couch.
Not the whole couch. Exactly. That's exactly the sort of thing that I would have done at that age. Being like, oh, I'm cleverer than you, aren't I? Yeah, I hate it. I hate him. I hate him. I don't know if there's actually anyone in this cast that I love.
That was going to be my next question.
I think I do like Joe. I think LaPaglia's really good. Mm-hmm. And I do like his character, and I like the way that he sticks up for all of his employees / foster kids.
They're a weird little misfit family.
They're like a family, yeah. So I do like that dynamic, and I enjoy his kind of overarching role. I just wish he had more presence in it, and we had less of some of the other children in it. I can't stand the way Ethan Embry goes like that when he puts that song on, and I just sometimes I'm falling asleep at night and I wake up and I'll think about it and I go, oh God, he did that.
He's your sleep paralysis demon.
That I find infuriating. But then I love the Guar bit. So
I'm biased because I was deeply in love with Mark when I was a teenager.
that's fascinating.
Yeah. And honestly, still would. Ethan Embry today still would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was in that werewolf movie, wasn't he, that we watched with
Late Phases, yeah.
with that geezer.
That geezer.
The Cold in July geezer.
Nick D'Amici?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is he the guy with the wooden stick, the vampires? Stakeland. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is hard work sometimes.
I try living in my brain sometimes, honestly. So it's weird. I go back and forth on Mark. I do, in some respects, find him fucking irritating. Why are you kissing that woman's foot? Why are you doing that?
So she was Maxwell Caulfield's stepdaughter.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. God, they're all related in this movie, aren't they?
Yeah, because they spoffed all the budget on the soundtrack. Yeah. So they were like, just phone your cousin. I don't know. Yeah. Get somebody down here for a day.
Yeah, Dad. Sorry, Mum. Is stepdad there? Yeah, I sort of go back and forth on Mark. On some respects, I hate him, and in other scenes, I'm like, oh, he's pretty fun. And I don't really know where I land with him overall. I find that quite confusing. Is there anyone that you relate to?
That I relate to? Deb.
In terms of character. Deb.
Yeah.
Robin Tunney.
Yeah.
She shaves her hair.
The weird suicidal one, which I don't know what that says about me. Yeah, I always did. I have a huge soft spot for Deb.
I think the first and possibly only time that I can think of being exposed to Robin's, that's a terrible one, I suppose that.
So you were saying Robin Tunney exposed herself to you?
I remember, I think first time I saw her was probably in The Craft, which was the year after this movie. Yeah,
they must have been made really close together.
Yeah.
And obviously she shaved her head for real in this movie, which, God, that must have been a nerve-wracking day. Like, you only have one go at that.
It's not like you can even, like
glue it back on quick.
Yeah.
Take two.
Just do a read-through, like a electric shaver with no blades in it.
Yeah.
No, you've got to get it right.
But yeah, if you go back and watch The Craft now, the wig is quite obvious.
Okay. I'm terrible at spotting wigs, unless
but
they're
now
on
you know.
middle-aged men, and in which case I'm brilliant at spotting wigs. Because if they're old and white, I'm like, that's probably a wig.
That's a taupe.
That's a taupe. Yeah. I think, I don't know if I really relate to any of the characters outside of the one that I hate. Unfortunately, I'm embarrassed to say.
Just Joe.
I guess Joe to a degree, yeah, because he's sort of, you get the impression that he's sort of sick of everyone's shit, but he sort of loves them all as well.
Oh, yeah.
So maybe I do relate to Joe a bit, because that's a bit of how I feel about it as well.
Maybe you'd have felt differently if you'd seen it as a teenager.
Perhaps. Yeah, maybe.
I think something I find really interesting is I think this film really does benefit from those rose-tinted glasses.
Yeah.
Because if you look at like the reviews on Letterboxd, almost everybody who's giving it a crappy score are people who've come to it now.
Yeah, and aren't forced to watch it every year.
Yeah, and haven't given it chance to grow on them like you have.
Yeah.
And everybody who's giving it like 5 stars, they're just like, this was my favorite movie when I was 9.
Yeah, I guess so.
So it definitely seems to be 2 very distinct camps of people who watch this movie.
Well, we were having a similar discussion last week in our Masters episode when we were talking about, if I'd have seen Masters of the Universe now, probably still would have got something from it, but it wouldn't be the film that I I look back on now with such fondness. I'm like, that's actually a really good movie. It's shit in places. Go and listen to that episode. It definitely has that. If I'd have seen that now, I don't think I would enjoy it as much as I do.
I suspect this is something that's going to keep coming up this season.
Yes, I suspect you're probably right, with one notable exception that I didn't see until I was in my 20s. And I can't tell you why I enjoy that movie. Actually, I can.
I know what you're talking about.
But we're not going to spoil that now. So
okay.
Yeah.
And one that neither of us has seen.
Yes.
So that'll be interesting.
Yes.
But so who else have we got in terms of
Liv
the characters? Because
Tyler.
It's such a big ensemble cast.
We've got baby Steven Tyler.
Yes.
Who was, I guess everyone in this is kind of in their early 20s. I think
So-
Renèe Zellweger, Renèe Zellweger, she was older than I thought she was. She was like 25 or something in this.
So before we started recording, I actually did sit down and write down everybody's ages.
It's important to get into this, yeah, because there's certain plot points in the film as well that I want to talk about.
Okay, interesting. But yeah, these are the ages of the people in 1995.
The actors.
Yes.
Yeah.
So not necessarily when it was filmed, because I'm assuming that was probably 94.
Possibly 95, yeah.
But yeah, so in 1995, Anthony LaPaglia was 36.
Yeah, that
Which-
tracks.
Horrified me.
He looks about 36.
No, I know, but like, imagine watching this from the age of 13, loving it as much as I do, sort of, because I watched it at that age, I guess I can still get in the heads of the characters, and then I watch it, and to me, he's still like the cranky old boss.
Yeah.
But he's 6 years younger than I am now.
Yeah.
It's horrifying.
Yeah.
But yeah, obviously, it makes sense when I take a step back.
Yeah.
Debbie Mazar, who I know you like,
It's MVP.
was 31.
Yep.
The hair wasn't real. Going back to wigs.
Right. Yeah. She did have unusual hair in this, didn't she? She's usually got like a long black hair situation going on.
Yes.
She does in Space Truckers anyway.
Yeah. The only thing I really know about Debbie Mazar, I never know how to pronounce it,
I don't know either.
is that I don't know if she still is, but she was really good friends with Madonna.
Right.
I think she was maybe in a couple of her music videos early on. And she based her character of Jane on Madonna's assistant at the time.
Mm.
I don't know who that was, but
No.
quite a flattering portrayal. I think Jane's a pretty good character.
Is she though? Is she? I mean, does she have any character whatsoever apart from looking like Debbie Mazar? Which I'm
Yeah.
fine with, by the way. But like, she's sort of in it, then she's not, then she comes back, and I don't really know why. What's going on with her character?
Because don't question it.
You're right. Okay.
just don't overthink anything.
Yeah.
If you start trying to pick holes in this movie, we're done. It's not that kind of film.
Okay. Well, I just need to set fire to the rest of my notes then. I mean, I've got a lot of notes to go through still.
Okay,
How
interesting.
old was Tyler?
Liv Tyler was on the younger side of the cast. She was 18.
Oh, she was 18.
She was 18.
Because she's meant to be 17, the character,
Mhm.
right, in the movie. But she was actually 18, so very close to her actual age.
Yeah.
And just the following year, she's in Armageddon. So 19, she's...
Yeah, that's nuts.
Yeah.
Also romantically involved with somebody called AJ, you said the other day.
Yeah, Ben, it wasn't the following year, and Armageddon is 98, so it was 3 years. 3 years
Still.
after. But yeah, still, she's still 21, and she hooks up with a guy called AJ in Empire Records, and then hooks
Yeah.
up with Ben Affleck's character in Armageddon, who is also called AJ. So she only likes blokes what are called Aj, apparently.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Everyone's got their preferences. I'm not here to judge.
But yeah, kind of a meteoric rise. Not a pun for her. But because I think the only notable thing she'd done before Empire Records was an Aerosmith music video. There's a very
Right.
famous Aerosmith music video with her and Alicia Silverstone,
Okay.
pre-Empire Records, pre-Clueless,
I don't think I know about this.
that a lot of male fans liked for the wrong reasons.
Okay. I didn't know about Liv Tyler until Armageddon,
Mhm.
and I didn't know about Aerosmith until Armageddon either.
Really?
Yeah. Unfortunately, that fucking song was the first time I was exposed to Aerosmith, and I fucking hated it.
So many people have had that as their wedding song,
Ugh.
and it makes me
Gross.
want to die inside. I hate it.
I don't want to fall asleep because I miss you, baby.
I do want to fall asleep so I don't have to listen to this song. And I wonder why I relate to Deb. Oh my God.
Yeah.
The acerbic suicidal one. Jesus.
Yeah.
Speaking of, Robin Tunney was 23.
Mm.
Johnny Whitworth, who played AJ, was 20.
Right.
Rory Cochran
Cockring, yeah.
was 23 as well. Ethan Embry was only 17.
Okay.
Renèe Zellweger was on the older side of the cast. She was 26.
Oh, past it.
to be
old
playing
hag.
to be playing a teenager
Yeah, that's
is a
pretty
bit of a
normal.
stretch.
I mean, that's pretty normal. Like, it's weird. It's unusual to have actual teenagers playing teenagers, especially back then.
Yeah. Yeah.
Too expensive because you got to pay for the school or whatever.
Yeah, online, like on-set tutoring, and
chaperones.
they can't do very long days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless
Can't exploit them anymore.
Oh, what is the world coming to? You can't even do child labour anymore.
No.
What a shithole.
Maxwell Caulfield was 35.
Oh, that one hits me harder than
The Has-Been.
Yeah.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Yeah.
And Brendan Sexton III, who played Warren Beatty, was 15.
I forgot he was called Warren Beatty. I was looking up.
We never learn his real name.
Is it not Warren Beatty?
No.
I thought that was the joke. His actual name is Warren Beatty. Are you sure?
I'm sure.
I was looking up some of the cast on Letterboxd the other day, and I got to Warren Beatty. I've already forgotten his real name.
Brendan Sexton III.
Brendan Sexton, right. I looked up his credits, and it seems like he might have had the most successful career. Black Hawk Down.
Yeah, he's
other
been in
things.
some big projects. Boys Don't Cry. Oh, he was a nasty piece of work in that film.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's gone on to have a pretty decent career.
Okay. I mean, obviously we spoke about Renèe Zellweger, and she did that movie where she's enormous, apparently, and she writes a book.
Yeah.
And Colin Firth died or something. Spoilers, possibly, for that. I don't care. Liv Tyler, what's she done recently?
I couldn't think of anything super recent, but obviously she went stratospheric off the back of Lord of the Rings.
Oh, right. Yes, of course she's in Lord of the Rings.
Arwen, I want to say.
Sure. Sure. I've seen one of those movies, and I thought it was fucking boring. I'm sorry.
I know fantasy is not your thing.
And well, unless they're superheroes, which is fantasy, isn't it? Really,
I guess so.
It doesn't make any sense in my brain. I just find that first movie so hard to get through that when it's finished, I'm not watching any more of this. And there's 4-hour versions of it. How much more fucking walking can you watch?
There is a lot of walking.
Oh,
in fairness,
God.
Even the trees walk in that movie.
God. It's like watching paint dry. I'm sorry. Yes, it looks very nice, and I'm sure that it's faithful to the books, but it's just not. It's not for me. I'm sorry. Well, I don't want to alienate people any more than I already have.
No, I think the one remaining listener is fine with it.
Yeah.
I feel the same way about Harry Potter. Some huge properties just don't vibe with everybody.
Yeah, I saw a couple of them. I watched the first Harry Potter, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Well, like when it came out, because my sister was about the right age, and I think we watched it as a family on VHS. And then I think I was on a plane when the second one came out. Not at the same time as it came out, but around the same time.
Did you want to jump off?
And they sealed the door shut, unfortunately. They do that on planes now.
When they screen Harry Potter films.
Yeah. But I think that's called The Chamber of the Secrets. And I watched that, and I was like, that was shit. And then I didn't see... And there's like 8 or 9, right? Or 10 or
there's
something.
Loads of them.
Loads of them.
I think maybe 7, but 7 might be in 2 parts.
So 8 then.
Yeah.
And then I skipped like 3 or 4, but people were like, "Oh, seriously, this one's so good, you're gonna love it." I
had the same thing.
And I can't remember which one it was. Maybe it was called an Azkaban or something.
Right.
And then I was like, "All right, well, let's try this then." And I put it on for about 40 minutes, and then they flew away in the car, and I was like, "I can't watch this." I just didn't care. I don't know what it is about it. Some I don't know. Is there too much joy in them, or what is the problem?
Too much joy.
No one's heads explode.
I don't know, but I don't like them either.
Yeah, why are we talking about Harry Potter?
I don't know. Let's go back to Empire Records.
So
we can't very well talk about Harry Potter in a flops season, can we?
Well, we went from Lord of the Rings to Harry Potter to two of the most successful franchises of all time from Empire Records, and it's because Liv Tyler.
Yes,
because Liv Tyler was in a Lord of the Rings movie. So this is a flop. Why do you think this movie flops? Is it 10 million feels like a lot of money for a start for this movie for me, and I guess you touched on it earlier, but a lot of the money would have gone towards licensing that expensive music.
I'm not 100% sure because ChatGPT did tell me
who knows everything.
Yeah, that the reported budget doesn't necessarily include licensing fees for music. That can be a separate thing.
Yeah, I guess.
But again,
you could,
depends how much stock you're putting in AI at this point.
Well, you could put things in different budgets. Like you have, if you're making a film, a marketing budget can come from a different pot.
The marketing budget can outstrip the budget of the film.
Yeah.
But look at Anora most recently. That was made for very little money, like a few million, I think. But Neon spent an astronomical amount of money on the marketing in the run up to the Oscars.
It's you can really do the accounting however you like. You know, it costs you X amount of money to make it, then someone else is footing the bill for the marketing, but the production company might get back billed for it at some point. So I think it just depends how much tax they want to pay.
Right. None. Usually.
Exactly.
As little as they can get away with.
But so potentially it could be 10 million without the licensing?
Maybe.
What the fuck did they spend that on? They built the set, right? The music shop was a set.
The set is one of the things I love most about this film.
It's a good set. Like you said at one point, you thought it was a location, right? And I wasn't so sure.
Like I spent the bulk of my life watching this film assuming it was a real record store because to me it looks so lived in.
Yeah, that's fair.
They did such a good job of set dressing. Just random things. Some of the posters of the bands that you might not necessarily have heard of, stickers put haphazardly all over the place, like the Devo lamp. I would sell a limb for that Devo lamp. I love it.
Or you could just pay 12 quid.
Or I could make one, you know? It's not beyond my capabilities.
The set dressing, like, it is amazing. Like, I look at the set, and the only reason that I was skeptical about it being shot on location is the fact that the whole movie is shot there.
Yeah.
So that would have, it
would have had to be like a defunct record store if it was.
In which case you're dressing it anyway, so you might as well build a fucking set where you can build it to your specific requirements, where you want the cameras to go and things like that. So that was the only reason that I thought it was probably a set. But it does look good, but it doesn't look like 10 million to me. No. The young cast, are we not paying the cast that much money? So
I mean, nobody in this film was a name. This was pre-fame for everybody.
This is post So I Married an Axe Murderer, Anthony LaPaglia,
and Debbie Mazar.
Was she in that?
Apparently.
Oh, I don't remember her in that. But and he wasn't a huge name back then. But outside of him, who are we paying all of that money to? I don't really know. Where did it go?
I don't know.
Set construction, I don't know. What's that costing? Say it cost them 3 million quid. You've got 7 million quid still. And it's 3 million quid on some stickers with a smiley face on. A poster from bands you've never heard of. You got the set construction, and you got the set dressing. Might say they spent another 1 million quid on set dressing for that thing, and props, that thing that makes the badges.
Catering. It's a lot of mouths to feed.
I've just realised, I think, where the budget went. Acid.
Potentially.
Yeah. I did hear that they rented accommodation on the beach for the cast.
They all had like neighbouring sort of beachfront properties, because it's filmed in California.
The travel and accommodation budget is where the money went.
Right, okay.
And that included acid.
Yeah.
Various powders.
Yeah, well, obviously the director, Allan Moyle, kind of wanted his cast to feel like to feel like colleagues.
And like
people who knew each other,
That makes sense.
So they were encouraged to kind of fraternize in the run up to filming and during filming, some of which went brilliantly, some of which didn't.
What didn't go brilliantly?
So there's a story that I read in an article maybe 10 years ago, so it's a little bit hazy. But something that always puzzled me is that in the credits, there is a character called Andre, who is supposedly played by Tobey Maguire.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And I've seen this film God knows how many times at this point. I also own the special remix fan edition, which I hate.
Is that a longer
It's a longer
edition?
cut, but they just shoehorned in a bunch of scenes that were cut for good reason, in my opinion.
Okay.
Lucas gets a bit more backstory at the beginning. Like, you get a bit more motivation for why he's taking the money. Like, it's not terrible, but I much prefer the theatrical cut. And there is no Tobey Maguire to be found in this movie.
So he's credited,
yes,
but he's not in any of the movies. So he must have shot something.
He did.
I guess that's that's the rules.
So I think another reason that the budget was 10 million is because it sounds like they shot a lot of footage that wasn't used.
Oh, obviously back then shot on film, more expensive to shoot.
Yep.
Okay.
It was intended to be... This is something that confuses me. I found in a couple of places the fact that it was supposed to be set over 2 days was referenced, but I don't quite know how they were able to edit it down into 1 day, given that the costuming doesn't change for any of the characters.
I guess technically it is 2 days, because it starts off with Lucas, who then does an overnight in Atlantic City and then drives back to the shop.
I guess so.
So I guess if you said there's more backstory at the start, that's part of it.
Maybe, yeah. Which I guess would make sense, because some people's complaint is that when the film starts, it's as if you're already supposed to know who a lot of these people are.
Yeah.
I don't have that same complaint. I think the introductions are just fine. Or, absent, but it doesn't matter.
So no Tobey Maguire in anything.
But he was filmed. And the story goes, there was some drug taking behind the scenes. And I think because he was so young, because it would have been one of his first roles, he was a little bit out of his depth. He was on, I want to say, acid. And all I know is that Allan Moyle found him in his downstairs kitchen eating a bowl of cereal and freaking out.
Right.
And it was just suggested that he go home.
Yeah. Some people shouldn't do ketamine.
Yeah.
There are some people that are fine, and some people should stay away from that stuff.
I think most people should stay away from it, personally.
Sure. Tobey Maguire, for some reason I'm thinking about that meme where he's crying as Spider-Man, and that's the image that I'm thinking of.
Photoshopping a bowl of cereal.
Yeah.
And you're probably most of the way there.
I'm glad Tobey Maguire's not in this movie. He's not my favourite. I find him a bit annoying, if I'm being honest.
Is he not your favourite member of the Pussy Posse? Would that be Lucas Haas?
We all know that it's Lucas Haas, the boy from Witness.
From Witness.
Yes. Yes, I'd forgotten that he was in the Pussy Posse. Yeah. That is interesting, isn't it? That he is credited in this film, presumably got paid, got a good holiday out of it,
and some free drugs.
Did
from the sound of things,
too many drugs, and then never did them again. Like, he's been teetotal ever since, hasn't he? I think?
Sure.
Oh, okay.
I genuinely don't know.
Okay, well, that's what I heard. But
don't know much about the man. I don't love him as an actor, I'll be honest.
No, he's not my favourite, sort of, when he pops up in things outside of a Spider-Man movie that's probably got the word home in it. I'm not that pleased to see him. And I don't love those Spider-Man. We're pissing off everyone tonight, aren't we? We don't like Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter, the original Spider-Man Raimi movies.
You're just taking every opportunity to piss off on a tangent and badmouth everything.
Yeah. Well, it's Rex Manning Day, you've got to speak your truth on Rex Manning Day. Sure. That's what it's all about. It's about wearing tight trousers, a frilly shirt, and saying that Spider-Man 3 is a big pile of shit. Which it is.
Well, that's canon now, yeah.
Topher Grace agrees with me, and he was in it.
I don't know who the other characters were that were written out, but I do know that the edit was kind of bit of a butcher job. That's the rumor, anyway.
What, as in the 90-minute version that we got?
The only one that you've seen, the theatrical cut.
Theatrical cut. How long is the longer edition?
It's not that much longer. Like, it's funny because they've added a bunch of stuff, but they've removed a couple scenes as well, which I don't love. But yeah, apparently there was a good sort of 40 plus minutes of footage that was edited out, which included 3 significant characters.
One of them being Tobey Maguire.
One of them being Andre, yeah.
Andre, yeah, I forget that he's called Andre. That feels like the least Tobey Maguire name of all time, doesn't it? Peter is about right for him.
Yeah, he looks like a Peter.
Yeah. But what other characters
I don't know. I don't know. And I don't know the actors.
Oh, okay.
Couldn't find any information on it, sadly.
Okay. So why do you think that this flopped? why did this? Because this feels like it's out at a time in the mid-90s. We're just getting going with the Kevin Smith stuff, which I don't actually know if those movies were particularly successful financially. Obviously, some of them have cult status, and some people like some of them. But
I mean, Clerks is a funny one because
that was made for
Kevin
£4,
Smith...
and it grossed.
Well, he self-financed, and then Miramax bought it. So,
oh yeah, that lovely company.
Yeah, the less said about that, the better, obviously. But at least Kevin Smith's kind of made reparations in that area.
Yeah, it's not his fault.
Even though he didn't do anything wrong. But yeah, I don't necessarily think it's a fair comparison because this was a big studio movie from the off. This was Warner Brothers.
Yeah, that's true. They spent 10 million. It's Warner Brothers. They spent 10 million quid on it. They had the backing for the budget.
If anything, this is more of a Mallrats situation.
Right. Oh, did Mallrats do a big
tanked?
Flop? Okay.
Because the studio wanted Kevin Smith to write like a raunchy 80s style teen comedy. And he did his version, and it just didn't go over well. Whereas with this, it's funny because when we watched it this time, I sort of pointed out to you there was a really egregious dub of when Joe clearly says "fuck," but it's dubbed over. I can't remember what it's dubbed over with, but it's a softer word.
Is it when he says "buckethead"?
No.
I'm going to dub you in the edit with Buckethead.
Banana Head. He comes out with some quite flowery
I remember when I was a kid, you remember, you used to do prank calls when you were a kid? I used to get up in the morning and get up, this is going to age me, but we had one of those telephones where you do the little turn the wheel.
Yeah.
And I would just dial random fucking numbers until someone answered. I got someone answered and I'll go Banana Head and then put the phone down. But I was 4.
Yeah.
Anthony Paglia was 36. He called someone Banana Head. You have no place calling someone Banana Head in your mid-30s.
Well, in his defense, initially this was supposed to be an R-rated teen comedy, but it sounds like the studio kind of got cold feet and opted for a PG-13.
Okay.
So I think that's why some of the dialogue was softened a little bit.
I'm still trying to figure out why this flopped as much as, because that's a very severe flop on a 10 million budget to make 250 grand. How many screens was it released on? Did it have a marketing budget? Is some of it because it was toned down, like it was shot to be a certain way, an R-rated film, and then they got cold feet and started to reduce it and make it more child friendly or teenage friendly, however you want to term it? Like because this, it's a weird one. I mean, it's not a great movie. Was it a critical response? Would that have been part of it? I don't think the
critical response was great.
So was it like they screened it and people were like, not loving this, so they just kind of cut their losses, didn't put much marketing budget behind it, didn't release it on many screens?
I think that's where my money would go.
Yeah. Because
I don't know, it's a funny one. I know the critical response was pretty bad when it was released. But it's one of those, we talked about this recently, I think potentially in the Thing show actually, but it's one of those where even just a couple of years later, people were kind of going, it's actually not that bad.
Yeah.
They were sort of already retconning some of their opinions about it.
I think this is a very boring thing to say, but as a society, I think we more than ever kind of go with the flow, and I guess it was the same then. Like a film will come out, people will shit. I think we mentioned it earlier, Ricky Stenicki, right? When that came out, people hated it. We watched it and we're like, oh, it's quite funny actually. We quite liked it.
Literally, my review of that was just, are you all cowards or am I a moron?
Yeah.
Like I'm unsure.
So I feel like a film will get shat on, and other people. You know, everyone has their own opinion. I'm not saying opinions are wrong, but you are influenced by other people to a certain degree. Could that have been the case possibly with this one? Ebert's saying it's a piece of shit. They're like, oh yeah, Ebert said it's a piece of shit. So I'm a 9-year-old and I haven't got a fully formed brain or my own thoughts yet. And I'm a moron.
As we know, all 9-year-olds were watching Roger Ebert back then.
Yeah. I was watching Barry Norman.
That was his core audience.
Which is our equivalent. We only had Barry Norman. I never heard of Roger Ebert until I was 32. Is it like a little bit like the critics say that it's shit, so people also don't like it? Possibly there's a bit of that, and then give it some time to breathe, and people are like, oh, actually, it's not bad. And then some people have their nostalgia goggles on, like yourself. And then I've just been beaten into submission, having watched it 4 or 5 times. I don't think this is a bad movie.
I don't think it's a bad movie. I don't think it's a great movie.
Agreed.
It's funny because it's so difficult for me to be truly objective about this movie. I would say almost impossible for me to be objective about it. But in my research, I did trawl through various Reddit threads. There was one on r/I watched an old movie, which made me momentarily depressed. There was one on r/grunge. Like there were a bunch of threads about it. And the general consensus seems to be the people who love it for what it is. They accept it for what it is. They perhaps watched it at the right time. The people who dislike it tend to be people who come to it a little bit more recently. And a lot of criticism that I keep seeing is that it's a little bit soulless, which I don't connect with personally. I don't think that's true. I actually think this film has quite a lot of heart.
I think I'm with you. I think it does have heart.
And I think its heart is in the right place as well.
Yeah, I mean, it does that fucking annoying thing where they finish where everyone's dancing and having a good time.
Yeah, of course.
But it is a hangout movie, and it is about a group of friends stroke family.
Mm-hmm.
And I get that. Soulless, I think, is a bit strong.
I think an extension of that is the criticism is also that it sort of smacks of studio involvement. Like it kind of reeks of, this is a studio movie. This is kind of, these are their stock characters, like the studious one, the slutty one, the stoner guy, in much the same way as the characters were stock characters in The Breakfast Club. Obviously, it's a comparison that's already come up, but it seems like the most obvious one. And I can get that. Some of the characters are a little bit two-dimensional, but I think that's more to do with the fact that we're not given a whole lot of time to really get to know them.
Yeah, you're not getting a bunch of character development in this.
I think we get to know enough.
I think it depends on the project. I'm not looking at this movie. I guess now, having watched it a few times, I'm not looking for great character motivation. I don't really know how I would feel about a longer cut where we get more of Lucas. I think that could fuck off, to be honest with you. I'm relatively happy with what it is. I don't love this movie, but I am coming round to it. And I think part of that is that it's short, it's breezy. The characters sometimes are likable. But even if they're not, even if Mark's kissing a foot, it's very quickly over and it's on to the next scene. And
I wondered if you're going to talk about some of the problematic stuff.
Well, I mean, I get the impression that those two knew each other. Is that something possibly that was cut down? Like, because he's sort of hanging around the woman listening to some music and going in to kiss her when she's not aware of it, which you shouldn't do.
Which is assault.
Yeah. And then he like picks up her leg and kisses her on the foot, which is assault. And
also super weird.
Yeah. And weird.
Yeah. I think it's funny because as much as I love this film, I can see it for all its flaws. I'm not blind to the flaws. There is a bunch of stuff that's wrong with it. The pacing is... Actually, I think the pacing's pretty good.
I think the pacing's all right.
I think it's pretty zippy.
Yeah.
But it is a mess. Like, the whole film is all over the shop.
I just think that there seems to be a bunch of random things that people do and don't really make much sense.
But I do not think that's largely because we don't know them. So there isn't the context.
It's like the owner of the store is coming in like, I just want to sell this gaff now. But like before you wanted it to be a toilet shop. And I don't... Who are you?
Bath and Bidet.
Yeah. And it's just like, oh, you're just here to be the man, as they say.
Mm-hmm.
And that's about it. And I guess I'm just... I'm at a point... Maybe the first time I watched it was like, well, that doesn't make any sense. But now I'm just like, whatever. We're meant to hate him and that's fine. It's nearly over, so it's all right.
Touching on that, actually, that is another complaint I've seen online. Obviously, it's not something that occurred to 13-year-old Sarah, but I think there was some pushback from people because it was a big studio 10 million budget movie that was sort of extolling the virtues of fighting the big guys.
Yeah.
Like independent stores over franchised bullshit, basically.
I love that point. You're so right. Like if it was a Kevin Smith film that was made for $5,000 on credit cards and it had the same message.
Mm-hmm. I guess it felt hypocritical to a lot of people.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. Mr. Brothers he paid for this movie, and it's.
Do you think there's a man called Warner Brothers?
Yeah. Mr. W. Brothers.
Right, okay.
Or were there two? Was it like the Mitchell Brothers? There was more than one of them?
The Warners.
Were they literally brothers?
Yeah.
And they were called the Warners?
I haven't got a clue.
I don't fucking know. They're dead anyway, probably, aren't they? Who owns Warner Brothers now anyway? I bet whoever owns it is not called Warners. It's probably called Jeff. I don't know. I keep thinking of Batman v Superman for some reason, and I think that's because it's a Warner Brothers movie and about how much the studio carved up that movie, and it ended up being a piece of shit. And then they released an extended version which was slightly better and made more sense. And I wondered if we would ever get a version of Empire Records where they do a version that makes more sense. I don't know. Or should they just remake it?
No.
Is that because you're so fond of this one?
Yeah.
See, I think this is kind of a perfect example of something that should get a remake, because I love the sentiment of it. I love the kind of the
David
thrown
versus
together
Goliath
family. David versus Goliath. Yeah, definitely always root for the underdog in things.
Mm-hmm.
I think the cast are pretty solid, but obviously if you did a remake, then it'd be a different cast, and I don't really know who it would be because I don't know many young actors these days. But
I think the only thing they could really do to improve on it is implement a more diverse cast, because this is the whitest movie of all time.
Yeah, that's fair. I do know. I think there was a musical. I think
there was a musical. We keep covering films that are adapted to musicals.
It was. I think the person who wrote this, was it Carol Heikkinen?
Heikkinen, yeah.
Heikkinen. I think she also wrote the musical.
Okay.
I could be wrong on that. I did watch something for 3 minutes and then got bored and switched it off on YouTube. But
I know she only wrote 3 movies and I own 2 of them.
Has one of them got River Phoenix in?
It does.
Is it called Crimea River?
No.
Okay. But yeah, I think this is a perfect example of a remake where I like the concept of it. I think it had some good ideas, wasn't executed brilliantly. Let's remake it. I think I would be up for that. And also maybe now as well, I would, if I was the person in charge of the money, I would probably say, well, let's do it in the 90s again. But now it would be a period piece, and you would already have that built-in nostalgia. So my cynical brain is going, let's do the cash grab. We've done Stranger Things now. We've moved on from the 80s. Now we're in the 90s, baby. Let's get some skateboards and some grunge. People love that shit, don't they?
I'm not opposed to the idea, but the thing that sort of gives me pause is that a lot of films that are being remade from that kind of era, like Mean Girls, which was a little bit later, granted.
Yeah.
She's All That.
Did they remake She's All That?
They remade She's All That, but I think it was called He's All That.
Oh, yeah. The kid from the Karate Kid show was in it, wasn't he?
Sure.
Cobra Kai. I think so.
But so the only thing we've got to compare it to are things like that. And I think if they remade Empire Records, there's no way I would enjoy it, for the simple reason that it would be targeted towards who I was 30 years ago.
Yeah.
And that is now the TikTok generation. So it would be dreadful.
Yeah, okay. I think that there could be something there. If you make it a period piece and you have the same sort of sentiment, a similar but obviously different cast maybe.
But they just have they bring back Rory Cochrane and he'd be the owner of the record store. It'd be that sort of winky. Yeah. No.
What you mean you're talking more like a legacy sequel situation?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying just go for a full remake. Don't reference the original in any way. Tobey Maguire's not allowed anywhere near it.
I think remake it, but completely swerve genres and have Joe snap and murder everyone.
All right.
And they're having to hide out in the store.
Stuck in a place, murder, Empire murders.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go for that. I mean, we'd still watch it.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't see my view on this film changing very much if it hasn't already.
No.
I always wondered if I'd grow tired of it. I'm middle-aged now. it doesn't necessarily speak to me like it used to. Obviously, there was a bunch of reasons I loved it. It was just nice to see weirdos and misfits represented on screen, and, you know, alternative people that weren't just shoehorned in there to be the butt of the joke.
Yeah.
So it was nice. It sort of, it sounds really cheesy and a bit shit, but I kind of felt a bit seen when I was that age. And yeah, I guess just the lasting memory of seeing it so many times when I was a kid and celebrating Rex Manning Day every year. Like, I can't see there being a time in my life where I don't love this movie.
Well, listen, say no more.
Mon amour.
Mon amour. I get it. I've got, Lord knows I've got my favourites that I saw as a teenager. Most of them have got Will Smith blowing people's heads off. But yeah, there's something about watching movies when you're a teenager, when you're such a fan of films, like, it's just, even if they're not very good, there's just something about them that you can't escape.
Mm-hmm.
And I get it. And unfortunately, you're bringing me round to this one as well.
I never saw this happening. I'm
Me
thrilled.
neither. Me neither.
I'm so happy.
It's getting to the point now. It's like next year I'll be like, oh, it's Rex Manning Day soon.
Let's watch the extended.
I haven't seen it. I'm kind of curious.
Maybe next year we can watch it on VHS.
Yeah, you do own it on VHS.
I have several copies of this film. Yeah,
you got the 2 versions on DVD,
mm-hmm.
VHS. Is there a Blu-ray version of this yet?
I don't know if there was one released in the UK. But I really want somebody to do like a really nice special edition. Yeah. That would be fantastic.
If there was a release, if there was a sniff of a release, I would definitely pre-order it for you. Because this is definitely something I think you would want. If the Second Sight did they're more of a horror sort of situation, aren't they? But if someone like that did one, an Arrow or whatever, then yeah, I would seek this out for you. I'm amazed they haven't.
Yeah, even like do a double edition of Allan Moyle movies and include Pump Up the Volume as well.
Oh yeah, that's one that I watched, isn't it? Yeah, fucking Christian Slater was annoying in that. There's something about Allan Moyle and making really irritating characters. So you got anything else that you want to say about Empire Records before we announce what we're doing in the next episode?
I don't think so. No, it's sort of hard for me to want to shut up about it. So I think maybe now is the time to draw a line under it.
Okay.
Lest I waffle on for another hour.
All right. So I'm guessing that you're pretty excited for the next show. It's one that... Have you seen this movie?
No.
It's back to me.
I'm so angry at you.
It's back to me. And for next week's show, we're doing another John Travolta movie.
Why do you keep doing this to me?
It's our 3rd John Travolta movie.
And it's not just any John Travolta movie, is it?
No, it's the one about Scientology. It's Battlefield Earth, you're welcome. I had to buy this on DVD because it's not streaming anywhere. I had to spend like £2 on this.
I'm so annoyed.
Barry Pepper's finest moment, maybe?
He was in Band of Brothers, wasn't he? You can't call that Barry Pepper's finest hour. Battlefield Earth was nobody's finest hour, surely.
No. L. Ron Hubbard's, maybe. But was he dead by then? We'll talk about it next week, maybe. Yeah.